Hey everyone! Welcome to Update X24H, your go-to channel for the latest news, hottest dramas, breaking stories, and all the buzz from the world of entertainment. We're here to keep you updated, entertained, and always in the loop. Hit that subscribe button and join our growing family, because here at Update X24H, we bring you the news that matters, the drama you love, and the stories you can't miss. Thanks for being part of our community. Let's stay connected, stay updated, and keep the good vibes rolling. Tonight on Update X24H, places that many viewers believed could hold answers in the Yu Menglong story are reportedly being cleared, rebuilt, or sealed, almost at the same time. If the ground changes faster than our questions, what survives? A city can forget in days, the internet forgets in hours, but people remember. In the next few minutes, we'll show you how a community can turn concern into calm, constructive action, without drama for drama's sake, and without crossing ethical lines. Stay with us. We'll share a simple step-by-step plan to preserve public information responsibly, plus new, hopeful ways fans across America, Korea, Japan, Thailand, Singapore, the Philippines, Australia, France, Canada, Indonesia, and Europe can help, no matter your age, language, or device. Promise to the audience. Zero sensationalism, maximum clarity. Every sensitive point labeled as allegation or report, and a practical path you can follow in under 5 minutes. Context matters because places are not just backdrops. They are timelines carved into brick, concrete, and policy. The Bulgari Hotel's underground levels, the arteries of the 798 Art Zone, the so-called Red Brick Precinct and adjoining museum spaces are more than coordinates on a map. For many viewers, they form a chain of waypoints that, rightly or wrongly, seem to orbit the final days of a much-loved artist. We must be precise. What follows reflects reports and public chatter, not courtroom findings. Yet the reason these locations draw attention is simple and deeply human. When people feel the story of a life has ended before its questions have, they look for the places where answers might have lived. Urban redevelopment, closures for safety, or routine maintenance can be entirely normal. Cities breathe by rebuilding. Car parks are regraded, galleries refreshed, basements waterproofed. But timing colors meaning. When audiences encounter claims that multiple sites connected in the public imagination are being cleared, sealed, or reconfigured within the same season, they do not see logistics, they see a clock. They imagine camera angles, visitor logs, service corridors, delivery ramps, and the ghost of a digital footprint that may or may not have existed. They wonder how long institutions are required to retain footage, who holds the keys to archives, what is destroyed by dust, and what is simply tucked into storage. Above all, they wonder whether the quiet rhythm of a city at work has, unintentionally or otherwise, stepped across the rhythm of a search for truth. That is why the language we use here matters. We do not assert intent. We acknowledge perception. We do not allege concealment. We recognize why some feel uneasy when geography and chronology seem to rhyme. The Bulgari name evokes luxury and subterranean calm. 798 evokes creativity, concrete, iron, and the hum of cameras. Red brick evokes a palette of memory as much as a wall. Each is a symbol. Each becomes a vessel for grief, suspicion, hope. In that tension, responsible storytelling asks better questions. What public notices were issued? What alternative explanations exist? Which records are legitimately private? And what paths remain for lawful, courteous inquiry? In the end, the places matter because people matter. If there are answers, they deserve daylight found with patience and care. If there are not, dignity demands we say so without stigma. Between those two possibilities lies our task: to keep looking clearly, to speak gently, and to treat every location not as a weapon, but as a witness. Looking again requires humility as much as curiosity. When a story grows loud, the temptation is to choose a single lens and call it truth. The wiser path is to set several lenses on the table, and accept that each will sharpen one edge and blur another. Begin with the city lens. Urban change is not an accusation. It is the heartbeat of a capital that renovates, repurposes, and replaces. Planning cycles, fiscal calendars, and safety regulations have their own cadence. If a closure coincides with public concern, that timing may be sour to the ear yet still be ordinary. To honor both the facts and the feelings, we must verify what is published, what is routine, and what, if anything, diverges from the pattern. Then there is the evidence lens. Digital fragments move quickly across borders and languages, shedding metadata as they travel. Before we read intent into a fence, a boarded doorway, or a newly painted wall, we should ask who first recorded the image, whether the file has been compressed, cropped, or color graded, and whether there is an independent, time-stamped mirror that confirms its context. A single frame can stir the heart. Corroboration steadies the hand. Consider too the institutional lens. Museums, hotels, and cultural zones are not faceless. They are staffed by ordinary people with rotas, handover notes, and risk assessments. Some records must be private by law. Some can be disclosed. Some never existed in the form the public imagines. A respectful inquiry is not a demand for confession. It is a request for clarity that recognizes legal limits and human boundaries. Parallel to that sits the ethics lens. Stories like this touch grief, anger, and hope. Those emotions are valid, but they are not a license to target individuals, publish private details, or turn speculation into spectacle. A community that holds its nerve, archiving public material carefully, translating neutrally, labeling allegations as allegations, earns the right to be heard. Finally, adopt the time lens. Not every answer appears on our schedule. Some emerge because a process has matured. Others fail to appear because there is simply nothing more to find. Patience is not passivity. It is discipline. To look again more carefully is to allow these lenses to sit side by side and to accept that integrity lives in the space between them. If truth exists, this method will help us approach it without causing harm. And if it does not, the method itself will have protected the dignity of those who remain. Turning worry into work begins with the quiet discipline of doing ordinary things well. Start by treating public information like a fragile artifact. Note where you found it, when you accessed it, and what exactly changed between versions. Save links to an open web archive and also export clean, read-only PDFs so that context survives compression, cropping, and the churn of social feeds. Keep facts in one document and commentary in another. It sounds fussy, but that separation preserves clarity when emotions rise. Build a simple timeline that anyone can read at a glance, anchoring each entry to a source, a date, and a short description free of accusation. Translation matters too. If a post appears in Chinese and is quoted in English, Korean, Japanese, or Thai, produce a neutral rendering that carries qualifiers such as reportedly and according to public posts. This is not pedantry. It is care for meaning across cultures. Write to institutions with courtesy and patience. A museum or hotel may have lawful limits on disclosure, and acknowledging those limits increases the chance of a helpful reply. Ask specific questions about publicly available procedures, retention periods, or redevelopment notices, and accept a refusal without turning it into a spectacle. Where community documentation involves photography, keep to public pavements, avoid faces, number plates and interiors, and add a simple caption with time and place. Do less but do it carefully. Create a monthly light audit, in which volunteers check links, replace broken references, and mark items that have been superseded. Publish a civility pledge alongside your materials and model it in the comments. No harassment, no doxing, no speculation framed as fact. Add a small well-being note, 5 deep breaths and a glass of water, because steady hands make better archives. Invite older viewers to mentor younger volunteers in patience and tone, and invite younger viewers to mentor elders in digital hygiene and accessibility. A community thrives when each person gives what they have in abundance. Establish a simple escalation path for sensitive items. 2 people review, 1 sleeps on it, all 3 agree before publication. Build a short myth and method sidebar that distinguishes what is documented, what is inferred, and what remains unknown. None of this is dramatic, and that is precisely the point. Legal, safe, and humane practice converts raw anxiety into measured stewardship. If answers are out there, this quiet craft will help us reach them without harming anyone. If answers are not, the same craft will have protected dignity, memory, and the possibility of future trust. Beyond headlines sits a quieter truth. Audiences from Detroit to Daegu, from Sapporo to Sydney, from Paris to Jakarta see themselves in this story. It's about dignity, proportionality, and a fair chance for truth to be heard. Viewers tell us they admired Yu Menglong for gentleness and charity, Whether or not every rumor checks out, that memory deserves respectful handling. Our job is not to inflame but to illuminate, to keep space for empathy, to discourage pile-ons, and to remind everyone that families and bystanders read comments too. Let's be the kind of community that balances courage with kindness. Here's what we can say with confidence. Online audiences are concerned. Multiple redevelopment or access-related reports have circulated. Petitions and archiving efforts are growing. Here's what we won't do. Declare guilt, publish private data, or encourage harassment. Here's what we will do. Protect sources, cite cautiously, label allegations, and pursue practical, lawful international cooperation to preserve public information. If answers exist, they deserve daylight. If they do not, our restraint will have protected the innocent. If you found value in our calm, constructive approach, please subscribe to Update X24H, tap the bell, and share this video with a friend who prefers clarity over chaos. Thank you for watching, for staying respectful, and for helping keep public memory intact. More multilingual resources and templates are coming. Stay tuned and be well.